Hey, this is Chris from Rekkid Talk with my latest episode of You Need That Rekkid. So today we're going back in time. We are going back to, I want to say, 1959. It might have been 1958. I probably should have been prepared ahead of time. It is 1959. And so this is the album Songs for Rounders by the country western swing singer. And this is, it's country and western, and I think he leans more towards the western side of it. Album called Songs for Rounders. And there's your nice old school back cover. Came out on Capitol Records. Look at the original sleeve. It's a protective envelope. And so I picked this up recently. I got it from Adam at the RecordKrate. I kind of have a thing for poker and gambling, so it's sort of, rounders is kind of a term for gamblers. And look, Hank and the girls, they're playing cards. It must be 5-card draw because they're holding 5 cards. And this is the 50s, so they didn't really have Hold'em yet. And obviously, it's probably supposed to be set back further in time. There's poker chips. There's a bottle. There's shot glasses. Yeah, so this seems like my kind of country music. It's going to be a little bit dirty, a little bit raunchy, and it turns out that it's a lot that way. And so I did a little research on this. A website called Country Standard Time wrote an article about this, and then another album that he came out with, I think the year before, called Dance Ranch, which I don't have and I haven't listened to. This is talking about when they were reissued at some point. But see, the Hank Thompson had charted on the country charts each decade from the 40s through the 1980s, but this didn't have any chart hits, even though a lot of critics have actually called this Songs for Rounders his strongest album. And the reason is basically he wrote a song called Cocaine Blues. If that name sounds familiar, Johnny Cash ended up covering it on his, which record was that? The San Quentin record, I think. I'll look that up. All right, so I unpaused. It was Johnny Cash actually did it at the Live at Folsom Prison record. I knew it was one of the prison records, but I mean, there's basically the songs about doing cocaine, shooting your woman. I mean, this is not radio-friendly material. Running away to Mexico. So I'm going on trial for the murder. So basically, Hank Thompson's producer said, yeah, this might be a good song, but there's no way this is ever getting on the radio. And Hank's like, of course, this wasn't going to get on the radio in the 1950s. So I said, let's just make a whole album of these songs that we know aren't going to get on the radio. So we've got 3 times 7, I'll Be a Bachelor Till I Die. I think that was a Hank Williams song. Drunkard's Blues, Teach 'Em to Swim, Dry Bread. Second side, we have Deep Elm. We have Bummin' Around. Deep Elm's a little bit rock, probably the most that sound like early rock and roll of anything on here. Little Blossom, Roving Gambler, Left My Gal in the Mountains. And then the final song, which I think is actually one of the strongest songs on the album, May I Sleep in Your Barn Tonight, Mister. Just kind of a harrowing song. And the thing is, I think the songwriting's really strong on this. If you don't know Hank Thompson, I know it's kind of Western swingy. Most stuff in that genre I find to be too corny. This isn't corny at all. This is really strong songwriting. Johnny Cash-ish, at least. Not so much in the sound because it's more westerny, but it is just those stories that this man was telling. I think a lot of these songs, if somebody uh, did modern day cover versions in like a modern day singer songwriter style or an indie rock style or Americana, more modern Americana, it would, I think these would still be great because I think these songs would hold up even if you stripped off the Western swingy, the steel guitar, you strip that off to sort of a different musical style. So I'm plugging Hank Thompson's Songs for Rounders.